Newhart was a sitcom that aired on CBS from October 25, 1982 to May 21, 1990. Dick Loudon and his wife Joanna decided to leave New York City to buy a little inn in Vermont. Dick writes how-to books and eventually becomes a local television celebrity as the host of Vermont Today. George Utley is the handyman at the inn, and Leslie Vanderkellen is the maid who has ambitions of being an Olympic ski champion. Later, her cousin Stephanie would replace her at the inn, and her boyfriend is Dick's yuppie television producer, Michael Harris. There are many quirky characters in the fictional little town, including neighbors Larry and his brother Darryl and his other brother Darryl. Besides sharing a name, the two Darryls never speak, that is, until the final episode. But what happened to the cast members after the show ended? Bob Newhart plays Dick Loudon, owner of the Stratford Inn, author of how-to books, and host of Vermont Today. After the show ended, he had two other short-lived sitcoms in the 1990s, Bob and George and Leo. He also provided the voice of Bernard in the Disney animated films The Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under. He was approached by Showtime to make the first comedy special of his 35-year career, Off the Record, which consisted of him performing material from his first and second albums in front of a live audience. He also guest starred on ER and had a recurring role in Desperate Housewives as Morty. He was in the movies In and Out, Legally Blonde 2, Elf, and he had a small role in the dark comedy Horrible Bosses. He also played Professor Proton on the sitcom The Big Bang Theory, and later made voice appearances on Young Sheldon. Bob Newhart is now 94 years old, and still continues to entertain new generations of fans. Mary Fran played Joanna Loudon, who was Dick's wife and the co-owner of the Stratford Inn. She also happens to work as a realtor. 3 years after the series ended, she was diagnosed with a heart arrhythmia. She continued to act, though, playing Clementine Duke in the TV miniseries Lucky Chances, which was based on novels by Jackie Collins. She appeared in the TV movies I'm Dangerous Tonight and Fatal Charm. In the 1990s, she also made guest appearances on Diagnosis Murder and Lois and Clark. She was very active with charity work, and as part of the Los Angeles mission, she helped to rehabilitate women with issues related to drugs and alcohol. Mary was on the verge of remarrying in 1998 when she went on a strict diet to lose some weight before her wedding day. But on September 23, 1998, after attending a charity event for the Los Angeles mission, she died in her sleep from a heart attack at age 55. Some speculate that her extreme diet may have played a role in her heart failing. Tom Poston played George Utley, the handyman at the inn, a position that was passed down in his family for generations. After the program ended, he continued working steadily despite his age. He had guest roles on several highly rated shows, including Murphy Brown, Home Improvement, Will and Grace, That 70s Show, and Disney Channel's The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. He also continued to earn film roles, with his last movie roles being Christmas with the Cranks and The Princess Diaries 2 in 2004. An interesting fact is that Poston actually married actress Suzanne Pleshette, who played the wife of Bob Newhart's character on The Bob Newhart Show during the 1970s. It was his fourth marriage, and her third. They had dated briefly in 1959 and reconnected in 2000. At the age of 85, Tom Poston died unexpectedly of respiratory failure at his Los Angeles home on April 30, 2007, following a brief illness. Julia Duffy played Stephanie Vanderkellen, a spoiled and lazy heiress who replaced her cousin Leslie as the Stratford's maid after the first season. After Newhart ended, she continued to work in television, briefly starring in the sitcom Baby Talk alongside George Clooney, and then she joined the cast of Designing Women. She also had guest roles on Reba and Drake and Josh, and she had supporting roles in the films Dumb and Dumberer and Intolerable Cruelty. Later, she went on to recurring roles on HBO's Looking and Showtime's Shameless, as well as Scream Queens. In 2018, her book Bad Auditions was released, and in it, she tells funny stories of her own bad auditions in order to help prepare young actors for the real world of auditioning. She has been married to actor Jerry Lacey, a co-star from Dark Shadows, since 1984. They had 2 children together, a daughter Carrie and a son Daniel. Sadly, in 2019, their son Daniel committed suicide. Peter Scolari played Michael Harris, the neurotic producer of Vermont Today, and Stephanie's boyfriend and later husband. After the show ended, he starred in the series Family Album and Dweebs, which only lasted 1 season. He also starred in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show, and a miniseries From the Earth to the Moon. He reconnected with his bosom buddy co-star Tom Hanks in his directorial debut in That Thing You Do, and they both provided their voices in the animated film The Polar Express. He later had a recurring role as Lena Dunham's father on HBO's Girls, and he played Gotham City's corrupt police commissioner in the Fox show Gotham. He also performed on Broadway in Wicked, Hairspray, and Bronx Bombers. Throughout his life, Peter struggled with substance abuse and bipolar disorder. He was married 4 times and had 4 children. On October 22, 2021, Peter Scolari died at the age of 66 from leukemia. William Sanderson played Larry, who had 2 brothers that were both named Darryl. They are backwoodsmen who live in the same town, and the 3 take over the Minuteman Cafe. After the series ended, he appeared in such westerns as Wagons East, Andersonville, Crossfire Trail, and Gods and Generals. He was a guest star in many TV shows, including Sirens, The X-Files, ER, and The Practice. He has also done voices for numerous cartoon characters, radio commercials, and books on tape. Later, he was in the TV series Deadwood, True Blood, and Lost. In 2019, he released an autobiography about his career called Yes, I'm That Guy, The Rough and Tumble Life of a Character Actor. And he also released a 6-episode limited-run podcast, which discussed his career. In 2020, Sanderson announced that he was retiring from acting, and now lives in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania with his wife. Tony Pappenfuss played the first brother Darryl. After Newhart ended, he reprised his role as Darryl number 1 in 2 episodes of the hit sitcom Coach, and made a cameo appearance in an episode of Bob Newhart's later series George and Leo. He also guest starred on many television shows, including Seinfeld, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Murphy Brown, and Providence. He even appeared in several films, including How to Kill a Mockingbird and Sweetland. Pappenfuss also went on tour with his fictional brothers from Newhart after the show ended, and he remains very close to the other silent Darryl, John Volstad, to this day. John Volstad played the other Darryl. After Newhart ended, he guest starred in Pros and Cons, Delta, Beverly Hills 90210, and Home Improvement. He also was in the movie Leprechaun, and he had a small role in Open Range. He later worked at a country radio station in Albertville, Alabama, and then moved to Rock Hill, South Carolina. Today, Volstad works at the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he and his fictional brothers still continue to appear at conventions and festivals together to meet fans. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and maybe even consider supporting the channel over on Patreon. If you enjoyed this video, consider watching this playlist. While you're at it, hit subscribe and share Recollection Road Entertainment with someone you know. As always, thank you so much for watching.